Good evening, Chair and committee members. My name is Chelsea Ballett, Deputy City Attorney with the City Attorney Office, presenting on the ordinance to prohibit single-use plastic foodware. Staff recommends that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council introduce and adopt an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the City of Oxnard, California, amending Article 24 of Chapter 7 of the Oxnard City Code, prohibiting the use and distribution of single-use plastic foodware. On July 28, 2022, the City Council adopted Ordinance number 3017, which restricted the distribution of single-use foodware accessories and standard condiments. The ordinance was adopted in response to Assembly Bill number 1276, which required cities to pass an ordinance regulating the use and distribution of single-use foodware and required that food facilities only distribute single-use foodware such as utensils, stirrers, splash sticks, condiment packets, and plastic straws when requested by a consumer. In order to comply with AB 1276, the city was required to pass an ordinance prohibiting the distribution of single-use foodware. This ordinance regulated how single-use foodware accessories that are commonly made of plastic are distributed, but did not ban the use. On June 30th, 2022, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed Senate Bill 54 into law. SB 54 established the Plastic Pollution Prevention and Packaging Producer Responsibility Act, authorizing CalRecycle to create and implement new recyclability and compostability standards for plastic packaging. SB 54 requires the city to collect and recycle or compost materials CalRecycle identifies as recyclable and compostable and designates as covered material pursuant to Public Resources Code Section 42041, E1A, and B, Roman numeral 1 and 2. CalRecycle is slated to publish a list of covered materials by January 1st, 2024. Once the list of covered materials is published, the city is obligated to recycle or compost all of the covered material, including single-use plastic foodware. The city may file for an extension or exemption with CalRecycle that may relieve the city from recycling certain covered materials. The city's Del Norte refuse and recycling facility does not have the required machinery needed to recycle single-use plastic foodware. However, the extension and exemption may not relieve the city of its obligations with respect to single-use plastics under SB 54. However, SB 54 does provide authority for local jurisdictions such as the city to pass an ordinance prohibiting the use and distribution of single-use plastic foodware items in the city. The passage of an ordinance prohibiting the use of single-use plastic foodware relieves the city of its obligation to recycle single-use plastic foodware and from having to navigate the exemption and/or extension options provided to local jurisdictions under SB 54. A prohibition of single-use plastic foodware will have environmental benefits. A prohibition of single-use plastic foodware will have environmental benefits because single-use plastic foodware is not currently processable at local waste collection facilities and therefore is sent to the landfill where it is slow to degrade, leach chemicals into the environment, and break down into microplastics that negatively affect foodware. Ordinance will apply to all single-use plastic foodware as defined below. Plastic means a synthetic or semi-synthetic material chemically synthesized by the polymerization of organic substances that can be shaped into various rigid and flexible forms and includes coatings and adhesives. Plastics include, without limitation, PET, HDPE, PVC, LDPE, polypropylene, PS, polylactic acid, aliphatic biopolyesters, such as PHA and PHB. Plastic does not include natural rubber or naturally occurring polymers such as proteins or starches. Plastic foodware means single-use foodware made partially or entirely of plastic. Plastic foodware is neither compostable or recyclable. Single-use means designated to be used once and then discarded, and not designed for repeated use and sanitizing. This ordinance makes the following exemptions for single-use plastic foodware products from the provisions of this article. Correctional institutions, which has the same meaning as in California Penal Code Section 7502, healthcare facilities licensed pursuant to California Health and Safety Code, Article 1, commencing with Section 1250 of Chapter 2 of Division 2, or facilities that are owned or operated by a healthcare service plan licensed pursuant to California Health and Safety Code, Chapter 2.2, commencing with Section 1340 of Division 2, and residential care facilities licensed pursuant to California Health and Safety Code, Division 2, commencing with Section 1200. This ordinance will apply to food facilities, which is defined in accordance with California Health and Safety Code Section 113789, which states that a food facility is an operation that stores, prepares, packages, serves, vends, or otherwise provides food for human consumption at the retail level, including but not limited to the following. 1, an operation where food is consumed on or off the premises, regardless of whether there is a charge for the food. And 2, a place used in conjunction with the operations described in this subdivision, including but not limited to storage facilities for food-related utensils, equipment, and materials. Additionally, a food facility includes permanent and non-permanent facilities. This ordinance will take effect January 1st, 2024. However, enforcement actions under this ordinance will not begin until January 1st, 2025 to allow time for outreach to the impacted businesses and organizations in coordination with cities, community development, code compliance, and environmental resources departments. This period will also allow businesses and organizations to use previously purchased non-compliant products and receive information about resources for compliant products. This enforcement date of the ordinance is consistent with the requirements of SB 54. Food facilities will not be cited for violations until January 1st, 2025. Upon first violation, the city shall issue a written notice of violation to the offending establishment, person, or business. If, after the specified correction period, the violation is not ceased or abated, violators of the ordinance will be subject to the fine structure in Section 7-345B, where first and second violations of this article will result in the notice of violations, and any subsequent violations shall constitute an infraction punishable by a fine of $25 for each day in violation, but not to exceed $300 annually. Any further violation of the ordinance may be subject to an administrative action pursuant to the procedures set forth in Article 3 of Chapter 7 and based on the city's schedule of fines. The goal of the city's outreach is to help businesses find affordable, compliant products that work for their business needs. City staff and volunteers will help to ensure that the transition away from single-use plastic foodware is as smooth and affordable as possible for the business community. City staff will develop resources to help businesses and provide one-on-one assistance as needed. Staff will also engage with the Chamber of Commerce, business community, community organizations, and nonprofit organizations with different outreach methods, including social media, mailers, meetings, and door-to-door conversations with affected businesses. This agenda item supports the Infrastructure and Natural Resources Strategy. The purpose of the Infrastructure and Natural Resources Strategy is to preserve and improve our roads, utilities, parks, trees, water supply, and natural resources through effective planning, prioritization, and equitable and efficient use of available funding. This concludes my presentation.